I'm heading to Penn State later today, where I'll be giving a talk with none other than Milo Yiannopoulos. So that'll actually be live streamed. I'll try to get the link out. But yeah, you can watch that if you want. I've been looking at some election statistics. Not too deep, but just a little bit. And I'm pretty sure Trump's going to win. And I'm pretty sure it's actually going to be pretty close for the may not even be close for the popular vote. I think Trump may win that too. Yeah, we'll get a big salva sell-off at some point. I think the FDA may put it on clinical hold. Yeah, he might win the popular, John G. You can go bet on Polymarket if you don't think so. It's about 50-50. So Tarsus SQ3 earnings coming real soon. I don't know why it's up into that, but is Monopar raising or what? God, it's so sad. $1 million cash payment. The trials for Cassava don't need to be stopped. And again, I have a different attitude from some of the other shorts. I don't have a big bone to pick with FDA, but I do think that they should be allowed to do their trials if the toxicology of the compound is not in question. So long as that's the case, I don't see why, they can't do a trial. Now, the massive amount of fraud that's taken place, I could easily see the FDA say, clinical hold, we're not going to, we're going to look at Embraer in a minute. Clinical hold, we're not going to allow new studies, which is fine. It is probably wrong. But the thing about phase threes, or any clinical trial for that matter, is that the FDA generally doesn't take an opinion on efficacy unless they're talking about filing. As long as it's safe to do a trial, you're allowed to do a trial. That's fine. Iqlal, what's up, babe? I actually don't know why Tarsus is up so much. Maybe some kind of rumor, or ACLX looks interesting. Yeah, that could be good long. You should see my newest creation. It's this automatic spreadsheet. It reads 10 Qs and news releases and updates a spreadsheet for you. It's a crazy concoction. I don't know how oversold Capri is. I hope it goes up. Oh, good. I think Monopar, there's a locate. I have to get the real-time pricing for options. I feel like a bozo right now. But yeah, basically the terminal's pretty easy to use. You just type in your stock ticker. In this case, Amgen, hit enter. You get the price or whatever. Then you can do different functions. You got to learn each function. It's the same as Bloomberg. So here's a bunch of the functions. Just 15 or 20 right here on the screen. One of the new ones, guys, is CWP. So this just goes to the company's website in case you want to look up their filings or whatever. It's kind of a nice, quick feature, CWP company web page. But you could look at an intraday chart, which is GIP, and hit enter. You can look at time and sales, which is TAS. Get out of here, kitty cat. Okay, so I guess Embraer has military stuff as well as, it says it's transport. I don't know if those are my counterparts, but they're doing some kind of acquisition. ELEB, ELEB. So there's some lawsuit with Boeing. So I guess the idea is Embraer may be a winner from Boeing's problems. Oh, I'm sorry, Seaside. If you got a better phrase for us, that'd be great. I do want to change it myself. All right, A29 Super Tucano. I don't like ESPR. What is the Super Tucano anyway? Like reconnaissance, it looks like. No, Godel and Bloomberg are basically no mouse ideas. That's the point of both companies, really. So is that their main plan? Oh, here's the E2, E190 and E195. I thought Capri was a buy, but I was mostly just trying to get a bounce out of it and didn't really work. It might bounce, but yeah, what do I know about handbags? Come on. No, Mankind ended up being very useful for PAH. And yeah, I'm surprised it's still in business, but the PAH drug is with Tyvaso. They get Tyvaso royalty, right? It's pretty serious. Yeah, ADMA's finally starting to come back. Shorting MNPR. Still waiting on portfolio margin. People were talking about MNPR last week. No, I'm still in ADMA. Haven't sold a share.
You hate the stocks you own that aren't doing well for you, but you truly love them deep down. You just, at least that's the way I do it. I'm always sitting here cursing them. When's the patent expire for Esperion? There is good value. I just have this oversized position. So just, we don't say stocks when we buy a stock, right? We say stock. It's singular. So if you wanted to say you just bought some Lennar, you don't even have to say stock at all, but you would definitely never say stocks. And it just shows that you don't know what you're talking about. So you might say, I just bought some Lennar stock, but you would never say, I just bought some Lennar stocks. If you're a real pro, you just say the name of the company. I just bought some Lennar. You could say common, yeah. It's okay. You're a little regarded. I'm gonna try to see if the ADS ratio. I think it's 2-to-1. You have to pay cap gains tax in Brazil if you own this stock. We say get it in blood. Oh, you want my taxes from Brazil? Yeah, no problem. Here it is. Oh, right, a Brazilian government. Absolutely, I'll pay you some taxes right now. Just hold on. Let me send those funds your way. It's so cringe that you can't quickly see the ADR ratio, even though I see you guys said it in chat. Thank you. We got to make this easier to do. The Brandy's firm is really interesting that they bought so much. There it is, page 103. I like video games. You don't want to play too much of them. Yeah, those guys are all trying to do pipe business, so you can't really take their opinions too seriously. Although, look, the people there are perfectly nice people. There's nothing wrong with them just because they're trying to be an investment bank that caters to smaller biopharma or whatever. There's lots of biopharma companies that need investment, so somebody's got to cater to them. You know, I don't think the goal of a sell-side analyst is necessarily stock picking, but access to management and access to all kinds of things. So yeah, you got a lot of risks in Brazil for sure, but all their revenue is booked in dollars, so keep that in mind. I'm sure there's some FX risks regardless. Of course, cash runway is very important. Company runs out of cash, that's usually game over, right? Pratt & Whitney makes engines, right? Earnings, everything's about earnings. Earnings down the road, sure. Well, everyone's got to generate earnings someday. So development stage drug companies, you got to forecast their earnings years from now. Those earnings are a function of the drug and those and the clinical trials, and the clinical trials are a function of the science. So you just keep going all the way back. Veeva's, yeah, it's amazing. I don't know how they keep growing, right? Like you can only satisfy the drug industry so much. They want to balance at WAPO for the first time ever. Yeah, you got to have some kind of ionic balance, otherwise you're gonna get really irritated. When I met Riza, every like science word I said, he'd be like, I got to use that in a rap. That's a great word. Never heard that word. Isotonic. I said, he's like, what do you do? And I was like, you know, I do pharmaceuticals. I look, but you know, he's like, so you a businessman? I was like, no, I look at, you know, drugs really closely, clinical trials, molecular structures. He goes, molecular structures. I like that. I'm gonna use that in a song. And that is kind of like a RZA lyric. I don't know how comfortable I am buying a stock in a Brazilian company. I mean, there's smart business people in Brazil too, but it's a little... I gotta ask my friend Pedro who lives out there. I haven't talked to him in a minute. Yeah, the earnings getting a little skimpy at the end there, so maybe not. It's a lot of costs. I mean, it's a low margin business at the end of the day. I don't like... I'm not sure I love this Embraer. I mean, I guess the idea is like they'll benefit from Boeing's problems, but that seems to be priced into the stock anyway. So it's a cool company. This price doesn't make too much sense. Maybe they'll scale better as they grow into it, but it's like 20 times EBITDA, 25 times EBITDA. I mean, conceptually, any problems for Boeing are kind of good for the others in the space. Whether they actually are good, I don't know, but a weaker Boeing can't hurt Embraer because, I mean, maybe they could expand their product line or something. I don't know. But I understand what you're saying. It's definitely not a apples to apples. They don't make jumbo jets. Yeah, I mean, if you think revenue is going to grow and they're a share taker, it's still like, I don't know, gross margins are so low. I'd have to really trust management, I guess. Dassault maybe better, I guess. I don't know. I have to keep looking at it, but at least at current prices, it's hard to imagine a really great outcome. I don't know if Chegg will reverse split. Not sure. What a classy lady. The tasting menu. Oh, if you look at the CapEx, you actually get a little bit better here. 400, 600, 400 free cash flow. So it's a little bit better. It's like 15 times free cash flow. I just don't know what the growth outlook for regional jets is. I guess it's better than jumbo jets, but it's still not cheap, Charlie. Like, you bought it at the right time, right? You're up 200%. It's time to go. Find the next one. You know, margin of safety, the Seth Klarman book, Charlie. You have to come up with some kind of like place where you could sort of, I don't know, get comfortable that you're yeah, humans taking forever to disclose their CRL. Holy moly, got way too many requests. Sorry, I wish I could look at them all. These are all kind of cruddy drugs. Accenture, Lucid. I don't think a CS degree would get you hired at a pharma company, no. So, SANA. I thought we already looked at this briefly. Yeah, I just want to look at it again real quick. Could they have data coming out or something? Are they just never going to show it? Bodlond. GLPs are very valuable. There's going to be a lot of them. I think like PD1s, everyone's going to have one. I actually do like Novo. Lilly's weirder. Lilly's got a bit of a market cap to it. Yeah, VK2X is okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think Viking could easily go to 100 or 200. I don't see why there would be any exact cap in price. I mean, right now it's pricing at $1 billion in revenue, which I think they could do more than $1 billion in revenue, especially if Merck or somebody bought them. So yeah, I'd be long Viking. I mean, it feels stupid to buy such a like cruddy company for so much, but at the end of the day, you got to give them credit. They got this mechanism. 8 billion market cap. I mean, to Merck or Roche. I mean, any of those companies, Johnson and Johnson. Why wouldn't J&J buy it? I mean, makes a ton of sense for J&J or AbbVie. AbbVie's a little levered up, but if I were AbbVie, I'd try to buy it yesterday. Any of these companies, Merck, Astra, even Novartis, they'll get bought out. There's no doubt about that. Type 1, yeah, Vertex has a breakthrough. I was looking at J&J's earnings the other day. How do you avoid FOMO in trading? Well, I don't know, experience maybe. I thought they were at 60 events. I thought we were supposed to get the interim analysis soon. So Sana doesn't actually have data coming. I don't know how to answer that one, Illuminati. Like, a lot of times, like, value accrual in startups can take time to get realized. Hypoimmune modified CD19 allogeneic CAR-T. Man, nobody needs this. You got to prove that you're better than the other CAR-Ts. Yeah, I mean, isn't Vertex doing this too? I guess there's no other approved allogeneic CAR-T. Yeah, a lot of earnings coming up. I'm really interested in Eli Lilly's earnings. It's going to be a big one. A lot of moving parts to that company and their GLP business. 10-year 4.266. I've studied like mostly technology software stuff. Okay, so they still have to report this data. So they've said they're going to report it by year end. Getting money legal. I'm not thinking Lilly's going to miss, but they have a lot of moving parts to like reversals, accruals, inventory stocking. Like, it's one of those things where they could be like, we did great, and then Wall Street's like, oh. I think they'll be fine. It's just, and they could also beat by a huge amount. We just don't know. I think stocking is like just one of these things that, stocking and pricing is very not transparent to Wall Street. Prescriptions are, though. I always tell the story that I did really well after shutting the fund down. My PA returns are enormous, but then harder to do it with other people's money. So this is supposed to be Gleam and autoimmune diseases. CD19 and autoimmune diseases. There's a reason nobody ever made a Rituxan ADC.
Yeah, Kamala's not too inspiring. I mean, that's why she finished poorly in the when she tried to run the first time, right? That is a good point. On Uplizna, CD19 is long forgotten for autoimmune. I remember way back when, I think Immunomedics had a CD19 and a CD20. You ever get bored of equities? No. That's why I like entrepreneurship, though. Hypoimmune primary islet cells. Also going to report clinical data by year end. These guys just like to lie. They don't care. They actually don't ever report the data. Are they doing 291? I guess it's the same cells. I don't even know. Don't pay attention to DJT or GME. It's a lot of other stocks in the stock market. Do you know this one? It's called Sana. Try it out. Check it out. It's just easier to like turn your brain off and just look at the same stocks everybody else is looking at. But you don't want to do that. You want to look at your own stocks, undiscovered stocks. You look at the same stocks everyone else is looking at. How are you going to make any money? Doesn't make any sense. These guys are kind of light on the details. They do a conference call? I mean, they barely have money for clinical trials, so I don't see how they can keep doing preclinical research. That's a bad idea. I mean, how are you going to engraft the islet cells? I don't really understand that. I mean, you would just keep continually infusing them? Sometimes I don't understand what these guys are doing. Like, there's a difference between tissue engineering and my colleague gave me a list of things to pack, and she wrote it all in bold. ID, credit cards, medicine, contacts, phone, laptop chargers, prep material, outfits, including shoes, summer clothes for Miami, sunblock. Sunblock and sunglasses. I should probably get some sunglasses. My mom is gonna come feed Nibbles while I'm gone, and she texted me. She was like, "Mama, come to Nibble, Nibul." My mom doesn't speak English so great, so Nibul. Nibble. I mean, it is how you say it. Tips for beginner investors: whatever amount you want to invest half that much. Maybe even a fourth of as much as you wanted to originally invest. Read as much as you can. Don't look at stock prices. Don't look at stock charts. Learn as much industry-specific information as you can. Time matters too. I would not look at technical analysis. I would learn a little computer programming. Yeah, I mean, MicroStrategy has assets. DJT is a very unique situation, obviously, as is GameStop, but yeah, I hear you. Afrin, AFRIN. I actually like Kamala for a trade. Kamala's at 30. If Kamala trades like 25 cents before the election, yeah, so Sana, it's like this very opaque company, right? They don't really talk too much about their technology or their results, and the stock has suffered as a result. Their goal, this is kind of the worst quote ever. 2024 is a year of execution at Sana with a goal of better understanding our hypoimmune platform. I think you should understand your platform. I guess to understand if it works or not. Yeah, whoever's writing these press releases has done terrible. Read this sentence. Early SC291 data from the ongoing ARDENT trial suggests the ability to dose safely, the desired immune evasion profile, and early efficacy. So they're running out of time to share initial data. You got November and December left. Now I look at any kind of stock. Yeah, you know, the ProTac revolution I've been talking about for a long time. It doesn't mean you can buy anything that says ProTac, but okay, so there's more research to do on Sana, but without any human clinical data, I don't know. So okay, so they are doing some kind of graft. They basically haven't announced any results at all this year of any meaningful kind. Kind of amazing. Not interesting indications at all. Charles, depends on your profile, you know, I mean, your risk profile and all kinds. I don't know. Maybe they announced some bad news on November 5th. I don't know. Everybody in ProTax is trying to do the same thing, but that's really, you can be really creative with ProTax. Great, man. Great.
C, make sure you subscribe to Godel if you want more good stock picks. Whatever price you lock into now stays the same forever, which Bloomberg's $2,500 a month. So at $60, you're doing pretty good. And we are going to keep raising the price as we add more features and functionality that costs us money. Investing in the platform costs us millions of dollars. So just the community is worth $60 a month. Okay, so we should look at Sana in more detail, like maybe read their publications and some detailed SEC filings, but I'm kind of a little suspicious. I don't know if you guys like my method here, but if you do equals min, you can see when your last update was for your files and go update the most stale file. So you just make sure you stay on top. ADMA finally starting to peak up. This is the time you buy. The knife has fallen and has landed. That's kind of the idea behind a falling knife. Yeah, so again, with Gilead, with Godel, you can do GLD CWP for company webpage, but I want to do it so that you could do IR for the investor relations site. So all these company web pages aren't exactly twice yearly, lenacapavir. Could be one of the biggest drugs ever. Okay, probably time for me to go. I will see you guys at Penn State. Make sure you catch the webcast. Subscribe to Godel. That's about it. Short Sava, MNPR, buy ADMA. That's good enough for now. Love you guys. See you tomorrow or later today or whenever. I don't know.